From the Figure 4 Online Studios in beautiful Bothell, Washington, exclusively at WrestlingObserver.com, you're listening to The Bryan and Vinny Show with your hosts, Bryan Alvarez and Big Vinny V.
Hey, it's December 2nd, 2018, figure4online.com/wrestlingobserver.com. I had our audio turned down, Vinny.
You muted yourself.
I fixed it now.
Good.
Yeah. Hey, we're here for the show, video.f4wonline.com. If you haven't heard, we have a video service here, video.f4wonline.com. You can watch virtually every, it's not every, but virtually every, 98% of the Bryan Vinny shows are available on video. All of the Tuesday night shows, the Retro Raw Nitro shows are available on video. The Thursday show with Granny, available on video. Usually, 99% of the time, the Sunday show, available on video. Every now and then we're out of town, so we're not on video, but you should check it out, everybody. Because if you sign up right now for 1 month, your subscription will include this year's Christmas show.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas show is going to be available on video this year, yet again. I believe that was actually the launch, I believe, last year of the video service. Isn't that right, Tony? Isn't that the first one we did? Do you remember?
Yes, the Christmas show was the first.
It was the very first one. Yeah.
That was scary.
Oh, that's right,
bad.
where I was super whited out.
It was horrible. It was like you guys should subscribe. If you subscribe today, you can go back and watch all of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
So
watching an old UHF show.
You can go back and watch the we should have done black and white. I don't know why we did color. We should just started in black and white with no audio and then moved up from there. Eventually we'd do Technicolor.
A silent podcast is what you say?
Yeah, exactly, sure. Yeah.
It's a great idea.
I mean, come on, you get the video as well. But point of this is we started last year. This year you're going to get it as well. And this year, if you've not heard, the Christmas show will feature myself, Vinny, Craig, producer Rob, Lance Storm, and Filthy Tom Lawler. All here in studio.
Wow.
I got to figure out exactly how I'm going to do that.
I'm going to just bring packs of ice and just sit them in the corner.
Yeah, we're going to need 2 extra chairs, 2 extra mics. Yeah. I haven't really thought about it too much, but we're going to figure out.
This is a horrible idea.
Yeah, so if you want to see this disaster, Lance won't be drinking, and Craig won't be drinking. So I'll probably put them on the couch. And the drinking people will be right here. So Filthy will get this one here. You and I are going to drink. Rob's constantly drinking. And it's going to be awesome.
That would explain a lot, wouldn't it?
I believe, Tony, we're going to have you here just to make sure that everything goes well.
I'm going to get it started and get the fuck out of here.
As producer Rob is drinking.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You can monitor it from the house, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll do that, and then it's going to be cool. So check it out.
It's going to be cool.
It'll be cool, all right. Video.f4wonline.com. A couple of other quick notes. The Bryan and Vinny auctions, we're in the third one already. We have 1.5 left. When this one's done, there's 1 left, and then that's it. They're going for a lot of money. So if you want to get it, you better get it now. Tax write-off.
So to clarify.
Yes.
People are paying money, donating money, I should say.
Yes.
They're donating money
Yes.
for the burden of then going back to watch Raw and Nitro.
They don't have to watch that show.
Okay.
They can choose NWA.
I see.
They could choose NXT.
This makes more sense to me.
and the Granny show. They can choose whatever show they want.
Yeah.
So some people like to suffer through the NWA show. Some people think the NWA show is the best show, or the Raw Nitro show, and so they want to be a part of that, a part of history. So yes,
I find that warped.
yes, someone is going to pay $1,000 to watch Retro Raw and Nitro, and recap it with us. God bless those people.
It's all going to a good cause.
It is all going to a good cause. Like some people just donate money to charity every year for nothing. I mean, you can donate this year and be on this show.
Listen, I'm not going to tell you I donate $1,000, but I do donate to charity. Then I don't go home and watch something I hate afterwards.
Well, you know, Vinny, sometimes you just want to be a part of something. So yeah, check it out. It's stickied, I believe they call it, at the top of my Twitter, at Bryan Alvarez. All the information is there. And that's it. Only other thing to mention is that the rumor is Vinny, that Seattle's getting an XFL team.
Sure sounds that way.
I'm in intense talks with Sports Byline for my upcoming football show. Since they're coming to Seattle,
Well,
I just have to cover it.
Who else would do it?
Nobody.
No.
So I believe that we're going to work on maybe a Saturday morning show. You're welcome to join me if you'd like. Otherwise, maybe Cliff will be available or somebody. We're going to talk the XFL.
I'd rather hear Cliff.
We'll go to the shows. He'll play some music.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
It does sound great.
Yeah. What do you think about them coming to Seattle? Does it matter one bit?
I think Seattle...
Why is Seattle, of all places on the planet, getting one of 8 teams?
That's frankly a good question when they already have the NFL, they're getting the NHL, they have Major League Baseball-ish. They have a Major League Baseball team, no Major League Baseball players right now. College basketball, college football, WNBA, WHL, 2 WHL teams.
A major homeless problem.
A major homeless problem. Major League Rugby sold out every game they did last year.
Oh, my God. Well, maybe that's why they're coming.
I guess.
Seems like a hot sports town.
There's a lot going on here.
Man.
I feel like I'm forgetting something.
What a place to live. What a life.
Yeah.
All right, let's get going. I'm done talking about football.
NWA World Championship Wrestling from May 7th, 1988. So the show opens with
I told you last week.
Yeah, it's not so much a recap, but they re-air part of Paul Bosch's promo.
From like a month ago.
Yeah, when Dusty Rhodes was suspended, and he said it was unfair and the punishment did not fit the crime. And they go to the studio where there's the announcers, Jim Ross, David Crockett, and Tony Schiavone. And they say, we have big news. And they turn to David, because it's his brother's promotion, so he's the one who gets to make the announcement. And he says, the board of directors has changed their minds.
That's his exact quote. That's so much funnier today than it was back then.
The board of directors has changed their minds. Dusty Rhodes has been reinstated.
Yes.
And there's a dramatic pause, and no one in the crowd reacts one bit.
And there were a couple boos.
There may have been even a couple boos.
Yeah.
And then they clarify, he can wrestle at any time. And then there's a, oh yay, yay.
See, I saw it differently. I saw him say, Dusty has been reinstated. He can wrestle anywhere. Long pause. Like he forgot what was next. And then finally he goes, but he is no longer the U.S. champion.
It was very awkward.
Yes. Well, it's David Crockett.
Well, it's David Crockett.
He's never not been awkward.
Fans were not ready. Fans were so into this Midnight Rider angle. They didn't necessarily want Dusty to just come back.
Well, the reality is, Vinny, they weren't that into the angle. That's why they ended it.
Well, there's that too.
I mean, they cheered the rider, but I mean, financially, from a ticket buying perspective,
They did not set the world
it
on fire.
didn't make a shit's worth of difference.
Right.
And probably did worse.
So Cornette comes out. He's appalled at this Dusty Rhodes decision, but he has more important things to worry about. His own announcement where the U.S. tag titles are returned to his men. And then he introduces the Midnight Express to compete against Jerry Price and Dark Star.
He actually started out by saying, as of today, the Midnight Express are the U.S. Tag Team Champions. Not they're going to be. Like, he was so insistent that I actually had to Google it.
Yes.
And find out, when did they win the titles back? Then they do the match, and he explains that, in fact, well, they're about to become the champion.
They're about to be
yes, the reinstatement has
thank
not
you.
actually happened.
Yes, the decision of the title match will be reversed, and the belt will be returned to their rightful owners, his men.
Yeah. What did this Dark Star do?
Was it Dark Star or Jerry Price? I'm assuming Dark Star is the one who had stars on his tights.
Yes.
But whichever one did not have stars on his tights, which I think was Jerry Price, they beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
They beat him and beat him. Cornette had a line about how he'd been wrestling for like 10 minutes. So maybe they'll just beat up the new guy because we can day. Give him a big hip toss on the floor. The cement studio floor. He just goes splat. They beat the hell out of him. Finally, they let Dark Star tag in and quickly pin him with a rocket launcher.
I don't know who's who.
I don't either. I'm guessing. Like I say, I'm guessing the guy with the star in his tights was Dark Star. Well, the star was white, so it wasn't that dark.
Well, there was one guy that was white and one guy that was black.
Was that two?
And
What?
I don't know. Dark Star. I don't know if he was the white guy. Maybe he was. I don't know.
Are you sure they were not both black guys? I sat here and watched the
Honest
same-
to God, I don't remember.
Okay. I'm pretty sure they're both black guys.
Okay, well, anyway. I wasn't
Cornette-
paying that close of attention.
Cornette cuts a promo here.
I just saw that one guy got beaten up for like 10 minutes, and I wondered what he did wrong to
That is
deserve
exactly
that beating.
that part you were correct on.
Yeah, he just got massacred.
Yeah. So Cornette cuts a promo. He vows They're going to get rid of everyone, the Fantastics and Dusty, whoever else is in their way. They're going to get their belts back today, and they're going to prove they can throw the biggest party in all of wrestling. And Stan Lane throws his hands in the air and shouts, "Hallelujah!"
Stanley, okay, so I can't say he never talks. Like once every 10 shows, he cuts a quick promo and is in and out. He normally, him and Eaton just stand there.
Yes.
They stand there, they look into the audience, they wink at girls, they fuck around, not do anything. They don't pay attention to a thing Cornette's saying. And then as soon as Cornette mentions a party, Stan Lane came to life. He chanted hallelujah. Later, he starts screaming, "Party!" He's all excited for this party that's coming up here tonight.
And why wouldn't you be?
He was getting ready. And the best part is, so I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, okay? I have to spoil what's going on later. We may as well just talk about the best thing on the show now.
Best thing I ever seen.
Jim Cornette's promised that there's going to be a party tonight. And Stan Lane is excited for a party, okay? It's the 80s. It's Stan Lane. Okay? When I think of a Stan Lane party in the 80s, I think of a lot of different things.
Most of which you can't show on cable television.
A lot of debauchery.
Yes.
A lot of God only knows what.
Questionable legal activity.
He's so excited that I can only imagine what's coming at this party. So, later, Cornette and the Midnights come out for the party.
The party.
There is a fucking table with a cake on it. Uh-huh. The Midnights are wearing party hats.
Yeah.
They're blowing on the gimmicks.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about like those kind of gimmicks. I'm talking you blow and it goes zzz and comes back out.
Exactly.
And they're throwing confetti up in the air.
Mm-hmm. They all have...
Paisley had a more debaucherous second birthday party than these fucking guys were throwing right here.
The best part is not only is it totally innocent and ridiculous for these grown men to be doing this, it's also super, super cheap.
Yes.
Cornette is very clear he had his mom made the cake. There are exactly 3 plates with 3 forks and 3 knives and 3 cans of Coca-Cola. Because he wouldn't spring for champagne, although he put under the guise of, "I don't approve of my men consuming alcoholic beverages."
Exactly, sure.
But yes, it's a great party.
We'll get to the party in a minute. I just had to talk about the party.
We had to talk about Stan's excitement for the party.
Yes.
Sting versus Bob Emery. Ross.
I have never seen a wrestler as shredded and muscular as Sting, who has pulled his tights up so far.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, usually people pull their tights up because they got love handles.
Yes.
So they're trying to pull them above the love handles, because then, like, above your love handles, it's a little thinner, or up below your ribs.
Yes.
So they hike their trunks up, or their tights or whatever. He's got them fucking hiked up so high.
Yeah.
He has no love handles.
No.
He's shredded. Why did he pull his tights up so high?
I would have to go back and check. It's between him and Shawn Michaels for who wore the highest
Yeah,
pants.
but Shawn was nowhere near as shredded as Sting was.
All right.
I was baffled.
So the only thing to note in this match is that in the early announcement, when they said Dusty Rhodes was reinstated, they added that he was not going to have the U.S. title returned to him. That stripping is permanent. And Ross said he will have to compete in the tournament with everyone else. Here, he corrected himself. Dusty is still going to be the special guest of Paul Bosch, while the Midnight Rider is in the tournament.
I see.
A very key spot, I'm sure.
Man, Ross, he's got to be careful with what he's saying.
Sting promo after his win.
Scorpion. They're pushing. He's in a collision course with Flair.
Yep.
If he can ever get that Scorpion on, he'll surely be the champion.
Of course. So he talks about how the Midnight Express were out there threatening to throw a party. He wasn't invited, but he'd crashed parties before, and he might just crash theirs. Sadly, he did not. In hindsight, he would have made the whole thing even better. But then he says that somebody else has been partying. Maybe, he says, partying a little too hard. Even harder than I like to party, if you know what I mean.
I don't know what he means, but I can guess.
He was implying someone had been making decisions under the influence of heavy narcotics. Yeah.
It's the worst.
He's talking about Barry Windham. Still can't believe Barry has turned his back on a good man like Lex Luger and joined the Four Horsemen. There's a part of him that still wants to give Barry a second chance.
Yeah. He says, I think Barry needs a second chance. The fans boo him. And so he has to explain himself, which it's actually a fairly logical point. He says, how can a guy be so good for so long and then do something like that? Fair question.
I don't have an answer.
And then he concludes with the following line, okay? This is to Barry Windham. He says, and I quote, "Get it straight, Barry. That's all I've got to say." He walks away.
He made his point.
Get it straight. This Barry's traveling a crooked path.
All right, it's time for the party.
Yes.
So we talked about the party hats, the 3 cans of Coca-Cola. I need to clarify. The plastic silverware, just enough for 3 people. Stan asks about the women. So there's supposed to be women here. Cornette says, well, they're having car trouble, but that means they'll be half price.
Wow.
Later, Stan asked about the band. Cornette said there's a guy warming up with an accordion backstage. I'm assuming this is all completely bullshitted, and they just fed off each other perfectly. Tomorrow was apparently the next
Maybe
day.
it's Jackson parody.
Might be.
You hadn't thought of that, had you?
I had not. The day after this was apparently, based on this promo, both Mother's Day and the Kentucky Derby. And he wished a happy Mother's Day to his mom, and also said she had 3 horses running in the Kentucky Derby, which is impressive.
Is that fair?
Well, it's like Paul Jones having 2 teams in the Crockett Cup. Cover your
Well, he's
bases.
a heel. So my question remains, is that fair to
So's
run
Mama
3 horses?
Cornette.
I don't know how it works. I don't know about horse racing. Yeah. Like if you're playing baseball and you have money, I mean, can you throw 4 balls? I guess that would help the other guy. Never mind. Go ahead.
So Stan's there. You got to picture this.
Can you have a thick bat?
Stan's a grown man, right? Now he's got his wrestling gear on, which is already ridiculous enough. He's got the party hat with a string tucked under his chin. He is complaining there's no champagne because he needs to have a serious party with champagne for his celebration. Finally, Cornette goes on for a while about all this. They're going to get the belts back. It's time for the announcement. They're going to celebrate. It's their anniversary. He makes it clear, we're having fun. Nobody else is invited.
Yeah.
Not the fans.
No.
Not Jim Ross, who's doing the interview. Now, maybe David and Jim Crockett, because they still have the power to return the belts.
Sure, yeah.
He sucked up to them, made it very clear he voted for Jim Crockett to be reelected to the chairman of the board of directors.
Although he does note repeatedly, it's a secret ballot.
Yeah. So his claim cannot be verified.
He has to make sure you know he's full of shit.
Yes. So David Crockett arrives, which disappoints Cornette. He wants Jim Crockett there to bring the belts to him. And David eventually breaks the news. The board has decided not to return the belts. Cornette has a conniption fit. He can't believe this insanity. David walks away. The Midnights follow him, at which point, you'll never guess. The Fantastics zoom in, and they push Cornette's face into the cake.
Yes.
And they run away. Cornette comes up
That's
screaming.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
Okay. This is like, how do I explain this? So, no matter how tough you are, if you're the toughest man in the world, if you fuck around with someone not so tough to a certain degree, they'll get so mad that you're going to run. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's what the Fantastics did. Like, realistically, shoving the guy's face in the cake and then fleeing sounds like a heel move, or like they're cowards. You know what I mean? But the thing was, they slammed this guy's deal into the cake. And even though they have beaten the Midnight Express, they're the better men. They wrestled them for 40 minutes and were victorious, okay? They're the winners. They're better. When they slammed that guy's head into the cake and ruined his day in the party, the moment that Midnight Express showed up, they ran for their lives.
Well, you got to look at it this way. They'd already won.
They had.
They had nothing left to fight for.
They were just getting out of it.
We made this guy look like a fool.
I loved it.
Our mission's accomplished. We have nothing to gain by
They
fighting him.
ran for their lives.
Now, just to make sure that the Midnights did not come out of this looking like a feared unit or something to chase the Fantastics away, they both were very, very careful to slip and slide all over that cake.
Yes.
And go crashing on their asses on the floor, just to make sure you knew that they were the buffoons, not the Fantastics. Now, through all of this, through the chasing and the returning and the slipping and the sliding, Stan Lane never lost his party hat or his sunglasses.
It's because he's a professional.
He's the man.
Yeah.
This is the best thing I ever saw in my whole life.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but it was definitely the best thing on this show.
It was the best thing on this show. This is the best thing on this show in a long time. This was awesome.
And by the way, I guarantee you that if this angle would have taken place on Raw, the heels would have been rewarded the titles back. They would have been reinstated.
And then have their party. And that would have been the end.
They would have been reinstated. They would have put the babyface's face in the cake.
Yes.
And beaten the shit out of him.
That's exactly
and left him
right.
laying.
That is exactly right.
Yes. And it would have sucked.
Al Perez versus Gary Royal. I've never been so happy to see Al Perez. I needed a break after the last segment. I was not ready to come down from that high.
Well, fuck, this brought me down from that high.
It sure did.
Boring fucking match. All I got out of this match is he's doing this match. They're talking about Oregon.
Yep.
They're plugging a match tonight at the Portland Sports Arena. Buddy may have been on that show for all I know.
Good chance.
And Al hits his spinning toe hold, and he really cranks it. And he really twists that knee. Gets a submission. And Jim Ross says, man, that's so deep, it's almost a figure four. Which begs the question, why doesn't he do the figure four? You know what I'm saying?
It's Flair's move.
I know that, but it's like...
He does a spinning toe hold.
If I were a sports fan watching this thinking it's a sporting event, I'd be wondering, why doesn't he do the figure four? Why does he stop halfway?
I don't know. Maybe the toe hold focuses on a different part of the knee.
Point is, sometimes you can be too good an analyst. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, them saying hi to Don Owen was the highlight of the match. So Gary Hart does a promo. The U.S. title tournament's coming up in Houston, and he says no Texas fan would ever cheer for Nikita Koloff over his Latin heartthrob, Al Perez. And Al promises that even though the suspension has been lifted, he's going to beat the Midnight Rider and tear his mask off anyway just for fun.
Gary Hart says, I want all you Latins to show up in Houston. Support the Latin heartthrob.
Did you go, Brian?
And then adds, don't let us down.
I know
didn't
you were
go.
12 or whatever.
Yes,
but
I did not go.
Yeah. Powers of Pain versus Curtis Thompson and Rick Paradise.
Rick Paradise.
I think he's been on before, but what a name.
So this Barbarian's my favorite wrestler.
He's awesome.
Like, if you really watch him do stuff, he incorrectly executes 50% of the moves that he does. But he's so fucking strong that it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Like, he does the power slam, but he doesn't, like, hook the guy right. He just still turns him over and smashes him right the way they're supposed to go down. The Warlord is a big, strong, powerful, bodybuilding-looking dude. It looks like he's pretending to be a pro wrestler.
A little bit.
Barbarian looks like he'd kill you.
Yes. Exactly. They're exactly right about that. They beat the crap out of these two dudes, especially Thompson, who actually got whipped, thrown outside. Then Ivan whipped him with a chain.
Yes.
That's very painful. And the Powers won with the Rockerplex and the Heart Attack.
Paul Jones says, you cannot deny the power of pain.
Everything's funnier when Paul Jones says it.
It is. They did the Heart Attack. Warlord actually played the role of Bret Hart.
He did.
He hit the ropes. He ran. He hit the clothesline. It was actually the fastest I've ever seen him move in my life. Mm-hmm. And then Jim Ross explains that he displayed great flexibility. The flexibility to run upright.
To jump.
But you know what's funny? This is a true story. Jim Ross mentioned that the Warlord had great flexibility running. Okay? The human body is designed to run.
Right.
It takes no added flexibility.
In a straight line, yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, I make fun of that line, but I remember when it was the very first house show that I ever went to in my life. I can't remember. I think it was 88 or 89. It was at the Seattle Center Coliseum. And I think it was Warlord versus Coco Beware, some goofy match.
That sounds atrocious.
Okay. So anyway, Warlord, at some point in the match, was knocked to the mat. He's flat on his back.
Please tell me he couldn't get up.
No. But he's flat on his back, and his arms only go this far. They wouldn't actually touch the mat flat.
I see.
Because his chest was so tight that his arms only went to here. Okay? So in fact, it did take great flexibility for him to run in a straight line upright.
I've mentioned this. The Warlord we've seen the past 2 or 3 months in the show is no great shakes.
He's better.
He's way better than I remember him being. Did he get much worse in his time?
I think if you watched his stuff, he's nah. No.
He never was that bad, or?
I don't think he was as bad as you imagine.
Okay,
he was always as bad as he is right now.
Okay.
Which is fairly bad, Vinny.
Oh, it's certainly not good.
He's not good.
Not good.
He's better than Jerry Only.
Yes. Yes. So they go to do a promo after the break. Now, Warlord, we were just talking about him. He was working very hard in there. He was throwing men around, grown men flying through the sky. He was running, as you noted, to hit the Heart Attack. But it wasn't that long. And there was a commercial break. And they came back and he's exhausted. Now, the gimmick is only Ivan and Paul Jones do the talking. So Barbarian and Warlord are just standing up front looking mean and occasionally flexing or slapping each other or whatever. Warlord is trying so hard to keep his mouth closed and breathe through his nose, but it is a struggle. He is huffing and puffing. He's had a long day.
They're both standing there. Paul Jones gets talking. Warlord and Barbarian are standing up front, mugging at the camera. And Barbarian goes, because they're number one. Then Warlord looks over at him. He's gasping. He goes, holds up his one finger.
He agrees.
So Paul starts ranting.
He's ranting about guts.
And he rants like you do. He bangs the table the whole time.
I may be subconsciously imitating Paul Jones.
Yes. Yeah. And so he starts ranting, but he's not banging the table. So Barbarian, he starts banging the table.
So fun.
So then Paul's ranting about guts. He says, I want to spell guts with a capital G. Because where are the Road Warriors today? It's like, what the fuck does that have to do with capitalizing anything? What are you talking about?
That's what made it so great.
He says, they finally met their match. They don't have the guts to be in the same building with the Powers of Pain. Powers of Pain, he says, is number one. Not R, is.
Is.
Powers of Pain is number one. Mm-hmm. Barbarian's mugging for the camera. Ivan Koloff starts ranting and raving. Now Barbarian's clearly bored. Warlord's still attempting to get his breath back again.
Ivan says the Powers of Pain are known not only for their scientific wrestling,
yes,
but also, as we saw today, their compassion.
Yes. So Paul Jones starts ranting again. Says, I've surrounded myself with the best guys, and I'm wealthy enough to get the job done.
Okay.
That's his conclusion. And then Barbarian goes, ah! And Warlord looks at him and he flexes, and they're out of here.
This is the best gang ever. Okay,
they're incredible.
I want to go back over this last line, because I think this is what he said. He says, people say that I'm great.
He did definitely say that.
Well, I'm great enough to surround myself with powerful people and wealthy enough to get the job done. So does that mean he's not really that great? He's just wealthy and powerful?
Kind of a little bit.
Am I overthinking this?
Yeah.
Probably.
Dude, it's Paul Jones. You're overthinking anything that he ever says.
Steve Williams versus Keith Steinborn. Doc pinned him quickly with the Stampede.
Yeah.
And he cuts a promo about how every day you wake up in the morning, you put on your robe and slippers, you head out to the mailbox, you check your mail, and you hope for one special envelope. Y'all know what I mean.
But I assume that means his pay.
I'm assuming it means his payday, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what he meant. He didn't do a very good job explaining this.
He didn't have direct deposit.
No.
But lately he says there's been no envelope.
What?
I guess he's not getting paid.
Man.
So he calls it the Four Horsemen.
Jim Crockett Promotions.
All four of them, and especially Ric Flair. He knows what it takes to be world champion, he says. Talking about his UWF title reign, which just vanished, finally. And he promised every man in this business is going to feel the stampede. Kevin Sullivan versus Robbie Amon.
Been a long time since I really buried a jobber. We got two coming up. Robbie Amon, I swear to God, I know I exaggerate sometimes. I've never seen a skinnier, more gangly man with gyno in my entire life. How?
I don't know what to
How did he go this wrong?
I don't know what to tell you.
Dude.
Sullivan beat the holy hell out of him and then punched him in the face.
Yes.
And pinned him.
That's what happened.
He's Ronnie Garvin now. J.J. Dillon promo. I love his take on this. He understands why the board of directors has made this bad decision about Dusty. It's because ever since the Four Horsemen signed Barry Windham, they've changed the entire complexion of the business. They've thrown everything off kilter, and now Dusty has to be reinstated to unify everyone so he, J.J. Dillon, won't be so hard to deal with. He promises the suspension is off the table. Dusty's been reinstated. He's free to wrestle, so unmasking the Midnight Rider won't do anything to get Dusty out of wrestling for a year. But he's still going to unmask the Midnight Rider just to embarrass Dusty Rhodes. And at the same time, he's going to concentrate on Tully Blanchard and Barry Windham, who are both in this tournament. Much like Mama Cornette and her three horses. Barry Windham versus Larry Davis. Davis is our favorite whipping boy over the past month or so.
He's been up there.
He's absolutely horrible, absolutely hideous. So Barry's new gimmick is he's always had the lariat and the superplexor finishers, but now before the match, he puts on the black glove, and he has the dreaded claw hold at his disposal. So he beats this guy up, hits the most violent lariat of his career. Like he was legit trying to break this guy's neck. He wins the match, and then JJ says, no, put him in the claw. And Wyndham puts him in the claw after the match just to be a dick. And then he cuts a promo.
Which is good, by the way, because he just turned, and he came out, and when they announced Barry Windham coming up next, you could hear women cheering.
Well, yeah.
He came out, and he really was not that over as a heel.
No.
So he needed to do something to try to get the people not like him. Unfortunately, he's putting the claw on Larry Davis. Didn't really work. Gives a shit. I'd have clawed the guy.
What do you think of this promo, though?
His promos are so much better as a heel.
Yes.
Like 1,000 times better. By the way, I did love in JJ's promo. He's so angry about this whole Dusty Rhodes thing, okay? Like, he wanted to unmask the guy and make sure he was suspended for a year. Mm-hmm. This has all been ruined. Man's been reinstated. But as long as he can prove that he was right.
Yes.
He will be satisfied. That's it. Like, it's all over for him. He cannot get this man suspended for a year. But he is still obsessed with taking the mask off the Midnight Rider. It means nothing except he will prove that he was right.
Yeah.
What a great heel.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So Wyndham cuts this promo.
Great promo.
He's at the top of his career. Now that he's with the Four Horsemen, he's going to make more money. He's going to have more cars. He's going to have more women. He's going to have more fun than ever before. And
he said, Ric Flair promised me I'll have more fun than ever before.
Ric Flair promised him.
I was like, damn straight.
I was going to say.
You're right about that, buddy.
I don't doubt that.
I don't know about the rest of this, but that I can guarantee.
So says, I'm going to win that U.S. title. I'm going to leave Dusty Rhodes crying over spilt milk. I thought he was just awesome here. Like, one of the best promos on the show. Awesome. Yeah.
He was great.
Yes. The Fantastics versus Joe Strickland and Tony Bowen.
I believe Joe Strickland, I believe, is the fat tub of goo in this match. It was beyond atrocious.
Here's what happened. The Fantastics started with a promo where they go join, I guess it was Ross, whoever it was, but they say thank you to the board of directors for letting us keep the U.S. tag titles. Thank you to all the fans for the cards and letters you sent in, encouraging them to make the right decision and standing up for us. So as I started to cut this promo, the show's almost over. We've been watching for a while. I kind of zoned out during the promo and started dicking around with whatever. So the match goes like 2 minutes. And I look up at the end, and there's the Fantastics, the U.S. Tag Team Champions, beating up a fat guy in his underwear.
Okay. Hold on, Vinny. I have to say something here.
Okay.
God rest the soul of Buddy Wayne. But he was wrong.
Okay.
Many people have been wrong about this. You ever heard these guys, they want to get into wrestling. They want to become wrestlers. They want to make it their career. And you say, well, go to Lance Storm's school. Go to Buddy Wayne's school. Go to this school. Go to that school. And they say, well, before I go to wrestling school, I want to get in shape first. Mm-hmm. All right. Buddy, countless other people, including myself at times, have always said, just start. If you decide you must get in shape first, you're never going to start. Just start, okay? Wrong. If you look like this fucking guy here, Joe Strickland, get in fucking shape.
Joe Strickland or Tony Bowen.
Before you get in this fucking ring. He was disgusting.
He was foul to look at.
Oh, fuck. He was 100% body fat. I don't know if he had bones. He was all fat straight through.
They went out.
And he sucked.
They went to the closest bowling alley.
At least Dusty was good.
They went to the closest bowling alley. They picked the fattest guy. They took his shirt off.
Do not insult bowlers this way, Vinny.
Threw him in the ring.
God,
I was
so pissed off when I saw this. Like, have a smidgen of self-respect. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
not everybody's gonna have abs. Mm-hmm. Okay, not everyone's gonna be below 25% body fat. Okay, But you're going out on national television pretending to be a grappler.
An athlete.
A world championship level grappler. Have a smidgen of self-respect.
If you're going to buy boots like this man did.
Yes.
If you're going to buy trunks like this man did. And I'll get back to this in a minute. Buy a singlet. They make them for fat guys. He was probably the fattest guy in this show. But we've seen lots of fat wrestlers. They wear singlets. Fine.
Yeah. Cover yourself up.
It's good to have different body
Wear
sizes.
a shirt.
But yes. Now, if you are going to buy trunks and wrestle bare-chested on national television,
shave.
that too. Shave and tan. But don't get trunks that are black in the back and then white in the front.
Oh.
It's just... He just looked like a fat guy in underwear on national TV.
Because he was, Vinny.
But
You're acting like he was something else.
No, but...
You're acting like he was Mr. America.
But
he looked like a fat guy.
I need to we often make the joke about how we spend all this time talking about guys in their underwear pretending to fight. This looked like underwear, like Hanes, like Fruit of the Loom.
Yeah, it was disgusting. I didn't like it.
They pinned him with a rocket launcher. Now, I didn't even notice until the very end. Like, they punched him and pinned him. That's all I saw. I kind of want to go back and watch this and verify just how fat and horrible he was.
Because he is very...
I was so distracted by his fatness, I don't think I appreciated the depth of his horribleness. I need to go back and double check. Kevin Sullivan cuts a promo. He says everything he says is the truth. He said Dusty Rhodes would beat Lex Luger for the U.S. title. That was the truth. He said Barry Windham would make a name for himself with the Horseman. That was the truth. And the truth is, everything he says about Patty is the truth. Now, I believe before, he said that when Jimmy Garvin left home and hit the loop and hit the towns, that was when Sullivan was spending time with Patty. Now he's reversed his story. Now he says when he left, when he was doing towns, that was when Jimmy was spending time with his woman. So he calls her Patty over and over again. He promises the most devious plan in the history of the wrestling industry.
The Dungeon of Doom.
I guess.
That's all I can think of. And that was pretty damn devious.
That's a long con.
Yes.
I'm so mad at Jimmy Garvin and Precious that I will make a horrible stable in a decade.
Yeah. Well, 6 years. Not that long.
I guess, yeah. Ivan Koloff versus David Isley.
This David Isley fella.
So,
what happened here?
This match is like 5 minutes long. It's just Ivan beating him and beating him. There's nothing going on. It's not horrible, but certainly not exciting. It's the end of the show. And out of nowhere, they do a spot where Ivan will whip David in. David will jump up to the middle rope in the corner. He'll come off with a reverse crossbody, but Ivan will duck. And David will land on the mat, and then Ivan will pin him. So David gets whipped in, and he jumps up to that middle rope. And he turns, and he jumps, and Ivan ducks. But David does not jump high or far enough. And as he comes down, his knees come down across Ivan's body, which, if you understand anything about leverage, if his body's coming down like this...
Or gravity.
His knees stop, his face continues.
Oh.
He landed right in his face. I laughed, and 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 I laughed.
You know who didn't laugh?
Ivan Koloff.
Ivan gets up with this disgusted look on his face. He kicks the guy right in the ribs. He hits his finish. He gets the pin. Then he leaps in the air and just double stomps him right in the guts.
To punish him.
That'll teach him.
That was the end of the show.
Yeah. They announced that next week they will...
Excellent show this week.
...reveal to us the new NWA United States Champion.
Yes.
It's being decided before we watch the show again. So we'll find out next week on the show. You, the listener, will find out next week who the new NWA United States Champion is. So yeah, the show was an hour and 3 minutes long. So we decided to add tonight.
Yes.
From Hidden Gems. It was hidden. Dusty Rhodes and the Junkyard Dog versus Ted DiBiase and Matt Borne. February 11, 1983.
Yes.
NWA Mid-Atlantic.
Listed under the common man's best friend.
No commentary.
No. So, yeah, from Mid-South.
Yeah.
In Houston, Texas, in February of 83. First thing I noticed, these ropes were scary loose.
Well, you got to remember it was the end of the show.
I guess.
And I mean, I don't know. I presume that they were tight at the beginning.
I hope.
And by the end, they were loose, and nobody came out and tightened them. because they figured no one in this match is going off the top.
I guess
They were wrong.
they were wrong.
Thank God they weren't tight. Borne would have never come down.
So you forget how huge Ted DiBiase was.
And Dusty.
Well, you don't forget how huge Dusty is. DiBiase was the tallest guy in there by several inches. He was a big, big man.
My takeaway from this match, Vinny, more so than the match itself, well, this is amazing watching these guys in here in these NWA rings. These NWA rings look so nice. The canvas is practically like smooth velvet carpeting, it looks like. It just gives like crazy. It's not like these WWE rings that are hard as a fucking rock. They're in there. First off, nobody's barely taken any bumps. And when they do, I can't say it's like a trampoline, but it's like they go down, they come up. Looks nice and easy. And you think about all these guys that are just wrecks today, physical wrecks. And then you start thinking about all those guys in the, WWE, I mean, back in the 80s, they had 4 tours running at the same time, 1,000 shows a year. And you literally were working like virtually every single solitary day on those rock hard fucking rings. Those guys are all wrecks. And then, I don't know. I was thinking about the guys today. Like, the highest high spot in this match was a leg drop off the top. Dusty didn't do a damn thing.
No.
He sold like he always sold, which was someone would get the heat and he would lay there on his knees. And they would hit him and he would just lay on his knees. And I'm talking, he just was kneeling.
Yeah.
Like he was saying a prayer, which I think was part of the gimmick, actually. It's supposed to be like a religious icon to the fans. He's not breathing at all. Even the Warlord. Nothing like that.
Warlord did much more.
He's literally not breathing, just as relaxed as can be, sitting there on his knees as they pound on him.
So a couple of things I want to mention here. The heat was absolutely ridiculous. Dusty, just for doing his strut, he laid in the early moments of the match. He does like the flip flop and fly, and DiBiase does the bump where he goes to his back, then up on top of his head, and then
Yes.
down. Dusty does his strut, and his last step is to step on DiBiase to tag in the dog. And a man in the front row leaps to his feet. He jumps high in the air, pumping his fist.
They were excited.
Look at that man strut.
Yeah, look at Dog getting the tag.
Dog got the tag. So that, the referee is one of 2 people I've ever seen with this particular haircut. The other was Andre the Giant. It was like the big afro Andre had, but then it was flat on top.
Yes.
So it just goes like out to the sides. He's not bald on top. It's just slick back or whatever. Now I've seen it twice. Match was fun for a while, the first 5 minutes or so, when the babyfaces are running wild and the heels are bumping around like fools and buffoons. They did
Heat's boring.
the double row the boat spot.
Yeah.
Always a winner. Heat got really, really boring. And then it was just random guys tagging in and doing stuff for a while.
Yeah, but the comeback and the finish was good.
The comeback and the finish was great. So
It's like a match where they knew they had the main event, and they decided, here's what we'll do for the heat, here's what we'll do for the comeback, and here's the finish. And it's 2 moves.
yeah,
You know that cat's going to die.
there's a cat I hear. Yeah.
Yeah. Tony, do
saying-
I have to do this?
You saying Tony will kill the cat? Brian's going to go kill the cat. He's going to bring the cat's head back in. You all see a cat. You can see him on his Brian's ass as he leaves the door. He's going to kill the cat with a guitar. I have
Because that's worse for the show.
having him walk out.
Yeah.
He's back. Is the cat dead, Brian?
I didn't kill the cat.
No. You threatened to kill the cat.
I can actually kill the cat, but the animals hate that guitar. You play a string
Well,
and they go running.
They've heard you play it.
Get out of here. Where were we? The leg drop.
This great finish. So Matt Borne, in case anyone listening to this doesn't know, he was Doink the Clown. And if you watch Doink the Clown, his finish was the top rope sit-down splash. The whoopee cushion.
Yeah, what a finish.
Yeah. So he's using the same finish here just as he was Matt Borne. And he goes up to that top rope. Dusty's laid out before him. And Matt Borne jumps 40 feet in the air.
I don't think, I swear to God, I've ever seen anyone jump so high for a leg drop.
Is this...
And the ropes weren't even tight.
Was this like that the French ring from the 50s with the giant springboard platforms? He launched like a fucking high diver.
It was like he was going off a diving board. He jumped straight up in the air. You know what it was like?
Straight up.
It was like a WWE 2K19 glitch.
It was.
It was like he just leaped and he just kept going.
And then
like he vanishes for a while. And then suddenly he just falls out of the sky
on his ass.
Yeah. It's fucking awesome.
Misses by 500 yards.
I'm watching this match just thinking, nobody's doing anything. This is so easy. They're so fucking lazy. And then Borne goes up there and does literally the highest leg drop I ever saw in my life. Just fucking flew in the air and came down on his ass.
I've seen
Which
that.
could not have felt good.
No
matter what I say about this ring.
No.
That could not have felt good. His ass went into his neck.
You're not wrong.
I'm not.
So, Dog picks him up, hits the big power slam, and pins him. Announced time of 14 minutes and 28 seconds. I believe them.
I believe him.
And that was that.
3 minutes Borne was in the air before he came back down.
It was astonishing.
Yeah, this was a hidden gem. It wasn't so much a gem in the middle, but I mean, all things considered, I enjoyed it.
The finish was definitely a hidden gem.
It was a hidden gem, all right.
If you told me you must watch JYD and Dream versus DiBiase and Matt Borne just for the finish,
To see the highest high spot of all time.
yeah, I just said, come on.
I think when he jumped in the air, he fell further than when Foley got thrown off the cell.
I was going to compare him legit to Matt Hardy doing the leg drop off the cage.
Yeah.
This was higher.
Which was a dumb idea, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is jumping 40 feet in the air.
Yeah. Well, that's it, everybody. We're going to wrap it up. I'll be back tomorrow with Observer Live and Observer Radio. And then Tuesday, the Retro Rod Nitro Show returns. We'll see if we can make it through another week. I feel great right now. But like Tuesday, I'm going to be in such a shitty mood when the show starts because that ruins my whole Tuesday afternoon every single week. But hey, you too could pay $1,000
Yeah.
and watch it with us.
And ruin your day.
Yeah. Head up to my Twitter at Brian Alvarez. Check out the eBay auction and all that other good stuff. And that's it, everybody. We'll talk to you again after a while.
Adios.